Hello, and welcome to this AdvisoryCloud Workshop. For those of you who haven't joined one of our workshops before, these workshops are designed to really help provide in-depth walkthroughs of some of the advisor marketing tools available in the AdvisoryCloud platform that are here to help raise your visibility as an advisor within your network and to drive interest in you as an advisor through your public profile on AdvisoryCloud. Whether you're midway through your career and looking to share your expertise with your peers and exciting companies around the world, or maybe you're nearing retirement and looking to stay active in the business community, AdvisoryCloud and everyone here is really excited to help provide the tools and resources to help you monetize your knowledge as an advisor. Obviously, our team is always here to help you get the most out of these tools and resources. And along those lines, please feel free to submit any questions you have through the box on your screen. I believe it should be on the lower right. And of course, we'll do our best to answer as many as we can during this session. I'm going to answer some of the questions here at the end. But if we do run out of time, our member success team will be following up on every inquiry that we receive. Even if you're watching this the recorded version later, or if we're done with the program here, we'll of course be sure to get back to you. The workshop today is one that I've been looking forward to putting on here for a while. It's something that we've had questions on, and really something that I really believe in as a great way to put your advisor profile out there and share your expertise. So we're going to focus on publishing content that drives advisor opportunities. And our goal here is to share insights on how to create content that will reach a target audience interested in your areas of expertise and ultimately create advisor opportunities for you. We're going to discuss everything from best practices on choosing a topic, composing an article, to sharing your thought leadership with your personal and professional networks through social media, in both what we like to call short form or micro op-eds, if you will. So a couple really interesting ways to use content to drive traffic and drive interested parties to your advisor profile. So I want to get started with how content of this nature can increase your exposure as an advisor. And we have a member question that dovetails right into this. The member asks, I see many people sharing their ideas on LinkedIn and social media. Should I be doing that as well? And the answer to that is a resounding yes, absolutely. And I'll expand and really cover a lot of that on why throughout this workshop. So let's start with the why of content. And you might be asking yourself why content matters for advisors. And so we've put together a couple of the key reasons why content is so important. And such an important component of building your brand as an advisor and doing that on AdvisoryCloud. So why is content important? First, it positions you as a thought leader. Second, it builds SEO, and we'll talk more about this. SEO is search engine optimization, tied to your profile that compounds over time to drive more traffic to your profile. Third, it enhances your public profile in and of itself by displaying your article links and your articles right on your AdvisoryCloud profile. So by continuing to add more articles over time, it's a great way to again stay on top of that, make sure you're always adding new content to your profile. And lastly, it gets your link, that link back to your public profile out into the world so that people can find you. They can find your articles, and through your articles, they can find your advisor profile. So before we dive into the publishing tool itself that we have here in the platform, let's talk a little bit about how to formulate an article. So from my profile here, I can click on Advisor IQ. And then these are our programs that we create internally. But if you click here on Insights, you'll see other member articles that have been posted. So you can see articles are being posted daily, and it's really fantastic. Now, the one thing that I do want to point out here is that these are not only available to members inside the platform, but they're also available publicly to the whole world. So let me get this screen in here. So anybody can come to AdvisoryCloud.com. They can click on Insights here, and all of the insights that you're seeing that we just saw a minute ago on the inside of the platform are also available publicly. So anybody can come here, find these articles, and then, for instance, say I want to take a look at organizational analysis. I can take a look at this. I like the article. Maybe I want some more advice with this. I can simply click on Kelly here, and immediately I'm right here on her public profile page. I can book a meeting with her. I can ask her a question, read more about her biography. So again, it's all about bringing interested parties back to your public profiles to drive those advisor meetings for you. So now back here on the Insights page on the inside of the platform that we were just looking at, over on the right, I'm going to select Write an Insight. So here we have the publishing tool, and we also have our Insight publishing guidelines. So here, we have lots of topics in here, including what topics, stories, interest C-suite executives that you might want to be writing about. So some of the things that we look at and we want to talk about when we're talking about topic ideas include, you always want to think about who's my audience. Whom do I want to reach and influence? So those in this situation are going to be people that you can provide insights to and people that you can provide your expertise to through advisory work. Next, you want to think about, after reading my article, what action do I want the reader to take? So we'll talk about how at the end of an article you should always put something along the lines of, if you're looking to learn more about this or interested in tapping into my expertise on the topic, you can request an advisor meeting with me right through my profile here on AdvisoryCloud. Next up, you want to talk about or think about what questions would my audience find most compelling. So what types of, whether it's something, a recent news article or something that another company has done in that space that relates to your expertise that you can talk about. Next up, what are the needs, problems, and pain points of my target audience? So what's a trend or an issue in your areas of expertise that a lot of people are talking about right now, that a lot of people have questions on, that you may be able to provide your expertise to? And then, of course, would readers find my topic and supporting materials relevant, meaningful, and really of value? What unique expertise and experience can I offer and can I share here? And then again, how can I turn my expertise and experience into compelling and interesting content? Because at the end of the day, we can check all the boxes on those first questions, but if it's not an interesting article, if it's not compelling content, then people aren't going to be as inclined to read it or move forward in hiring you for that. So again, the goal of the article should always be to culminate in a positive outcome due to your ideas and what the reader is going to take away there. So we want to help them solve problems. Obviously, the bigger and more meaningful to the reader, to your target audience, the better. We want to create opportunities. We want to expand the reader's understanding of their world, their business landscape, that they can innovate and identify opportunities that may have been unnoticed otherwise. We want to review and analyze, any current studies, reports, surveys, not to take us all back to college, but supporting documents, any references that you can make while writing an article are only going to help to substantiate what you're talking about in your point of view. Predictions, where you see a market, an industry headed and going, and then explaining a best practice, whether that's a type of technology, a process that's important or highly relevant to your audience, and why that works and why that's of value to the reader. So that's kind of, again, a very high level, but hopefully gets your wheels turning, gets your creative juices flowing in terms of items and topics that you may want to write articles on. So let's take a look here at some of the features of the publisher. So obviously, of course, up first we have the headline, and with the headline, you want to grab attention and pack some punch with your headline. And again, in terms of that search engine optimization that we talked about a little earlier, the goal of SEO, search engine optimization, that people talk about, really all that means is what can we do to optimize the article or optimize the content, the web page, so that when somebody searches for a term that relates to that article, Google says, oh yeah, this is a good resource here, and highlights that or puts that as high up on that first page of Google as possible. So if you're writing about marketing analytics, obviously you're going to be using the terms marketing, you're going to be using the terms analytics. If I'm writing an article about how to implement marketing analytics at a SaaS company, and I want, if somebody Googles how to implement marketing analytics at a SaaS company, obviously I want this article to pop up. So I want to put that in my headline as obvious as possible. So coming down into formatting, submit an article on the site. The article, obviously, you can paste that in here. What I usually do, to be honest, is I don't often write a full article in here. What I'll do is I'll write it in Microsoft Word or in Google Docs and paste that in. So when I then paste that in, I then need to go through here, and these are your standard formatting tools here: bold, italic, you can underline, bullet points, lists, things like that. You can also include links. So links are great, as I mentioned, if you're referencing another article or a survey or a research report somewhere else. You want to link that in here. Also, if you're working on something and get called away or need to step aside for a minute, it's always a good idea, as with anything, to click Save Draft here, so you can save that and you can come back to it later. Anything saved will be over here in your drafts the next time you come back. So that's nice and handy. Save often, as they always say. And then obviously you have your Submit Insight button here. So when submitting, it does go through an approval process on our side before that's live. During the approval stage, you will have access to review your article, but you won't be able to change or edit it after that. Our team is going to go through, we're going to make sure, we'll give it a once over for typos, small items, if there's any formatting issues or things like that. Our team's going to go through that for you and take care of anything there. So, we're not going to be doing any heavy editing, but we will be going through to just make sure that it's nice and polished and really presents you in the best way possible. We'll also add, you saw in the other insights, there were some images up at the top of each of those. That's something that our team will handle for you. You don't have to worry about going out and finding just the right image for that. Our team will take care of that for you as well. Again, to make sure that it really is going to grab the attention of the reader and anyone going through there. So, again, with the approval process, not only are we going through and editing and things like that, but we are looking for a couple things there. We do want complete articles, so we'll make sure that we didn't think anything's left out there. We do not accept PDF documents or just hyperlinks to other websites where the article can be found. So even if you've written an article somewhere else, you can't just come in here and paste in a link to that article. Clearly, we want that full article to be here. And if there is a link to a PDF or an ebook or something like that you've written somewhere else, what we do encourage you to do is link to that on your profile itself, and not necessarily through an insight here. Again, that's something that our team can share and can help with. If you do have another type of media that you'd like to have included on your profile to be found, but the insights are really just for full articles that are gonna live here. Also, contact information cannot be shared through member insights. So, don't put your phone number or your email address in your insight. Your insight will always have a link back to your advisor profile on it. So if anybody does want to get in touch with you, they will always be able to through that insight. Click that advice. They'll be able to click your profile, go to your profile, and contact you directly through that. So please don't put any contact information on the insights there. And we also, we do request that articles submitted on the platform are business focused. Clearly, these are intended to highlight and showcase your business expertise. And of course, we want to make sure that they're an accurate and appropriate representation of your expertise or experience. And then, last, their advertisements or advertorials, as they are, also will most likely be rejected through the review process there. The approval process can take a week to 10 days, depending on where we are there. If any conflicts do exist there, our team will reach out to you directly to say, hey, we had a couple questions about this insight that you published, and just to make sure that everybody's on the same page if there are any questions about that. But if everything looks good, we will go ahead and publish that article for you. And you'll see that pop up under Published Insights here, and you'll also be able to find that on the Insights page, both inside the platform and publicly on the outside. So once you've written your article and submitted that and it's been approved and published, obviously you'll want to share it with your network. And here it's very quick and easy to share it to LinkedIn. So we'll just go to LinkedIn here. Click Start Post, and you can write a little bit at the top about what your article is about, and just to give people an idea, we want to make that something that's a little catchy, make it something that people are going to want to click on and going to want to learn more about, and then you can simply paste in the link to your article here, and it'll include the nice image there, and anybody on your profile or in their newsfeed that sees this can simply click on that, head right to your article. From your article, they can click on your advisor profile and move forward with hiring you as an advisor. So this is a really easy way to, again, share that article and get that out into the world. So nice and easy. And a great way to, again, share your article. You've written this wonderful article. You want to put it out in the world. So here you can share that with your network. It's also very easy to share on Facebook, Twitter. If you have either of those platforms, you can use those for this as well. So another great method for producing content that can really benefit you and is also very, very easy is something that I like to call short form op-ed. Which basically amounts to sharing the link of an article that you've read online with a sentence or two of commentary about either your agreement, your disagreement with the sentiment of the article, or just sharing, hey, if you're interested in learning more about this topic, this is actually something I'm, am ready and willing to advise on. So there's some ways to do that. So let's take a look at an article that I was just reading. This was big news recently. Salesforce entered in an agreement to purchase a company called Tableau Software. They handle big data. A lot of companies use Tableau software for marketing analytics. Marketing analytics is something I'm very familiar with. So I'm going to copy the link to this article here. I'm going to head back to my LinkedIn. And I'm going to start a little post about that. So I'm going to paste in the article, and I'm going to write a little bit up at the top, just saying, marketing analytics, the marketing analytics landscape is changing. If you're interested in learning more about using marketing analytics at your company, I'm available to advise. So this, again, something short up at the top, This acquisition that Salesforce made is something that a lot of people have been talking about recently. And it's a very easy and simple way for me to say, hey, here's a topic, here's something I actually know something about. And I'm available to advise, and I can share that. So I can put that in there. And I'm also, again, want to, of course, share a link to my advisor profile on AdvisoryCloud so that people can find me as well. .com/profile/Chris-Beaver. So now from here they can click to take a look at my profile, and they can also go to read the article that I'm there talking about. So I can go ahead and click post, and now anybody can find that, and they can go to my profile here if they want to learn anything about marketing, analytics, and different software sets that are being used there. So again, just another way to very easily share your expertise and put that out there. It's a really time-effective way to drive traffic to your advisor profile and to start really building your presence as a thought leader on your in your areas of expertise. So that's a quick walkthrough of AdvisoryCloud's publishing tools that can help you share content and drive interested parties to your profile where they can schedule advisor meetings with you. And just as has happened in so many other industries, the addition of technology is really democratizing and providing transparency into the otherwise and previously shrouded world of advisory work. AdvisoryCloud is giving leading executives around the world the ability to raise their hands within their networks and voice their interest in advising, their interest and abilities, really. Some look at this as the gig economy, but we really look at it as furthering the knowledge economy. This is not your normal gig work that people think of with Uber and Lyft and companies like that. This is really very high-level advisory work, and we look at that, and within the industry it's spoken about as the knowledge economy, and that's really where we're involved. This ability to connect individuals with vast quantities of expertise, with those in need of their advice, and the use of technology to bring these parties together is really just an expansion of these smaller private networks and personal connections that have traditionally been used to source advice in the business world. Too often in the past, companies and executives have been really limited in their access to advisors, relying too often on those personal encounters within their small local networks. And with AdvisoryCloud, companies and executives seeking advice can quickly and easily find the advisor that best meets their needs and can really help drive their business forward. So with that, let's just take a look here. We do have a couple questions that have come in here that I want to make sure we get to. For those of us that are not marketing executives, can you give us a high-level understanding of SEO and how it relates to our advisor profiles? Great question. I apologize. I should have gone into a little more depth there. I didn't mean to breeze over that. Search engine optimization, or SEO, is the phrase that we use when we talk about how a website is found or can be found in search engines like Google for words or phrases that are relevant to what's on that page. And there are really two main pieces of this. The first is the content itself. So, for instance, we were talking about the headline. So if you want your article to be found when someone searches for, I don't remember what my example before was, but if someone searches for how to launch a startup in the financial tech sector, and you want your article to show up for that, then you want to make sure that your article includes those words, startups, financial tech, things like that. So again, it's why writing a clear headline is really important. And again, and also something you want to make sure that those topics and those phrases are discussed in the body of the article as well. The second big piece of SEO, or search engine optimization, are really links back to your article. So this is simply how many other websites lead back to that article. So a search engine, Google will keep track of how many other websites link back to that particular page. In this case, your article or your advisor profile. And the more links to your article or your advisor profile, and remember your article always links to your advisor profile, but as many links back that are coming back to your profile there, the more important a search engine like Google is going to assume your article is. So if there's two articles that are identical and one of them, there's only one link out in the world that comes back to that, and the other one there's 20 links that come back to that article, or even 5 links that come back to that article, Google is going to assume that the article with more links back to it is more relevant to that search and more important. So it's going to make sure that it highlights that. So that's really why it's key to, once you write your article, don't just let it sit there. You want to get out and you want to share that article. So if you can, include it in your LinkedIn, on your Facebook, on your Twitter, if you or your company has a website that it can be included on, whether maybe your company has a blog that it can get included on or something like that, you want to make sure that you're getting that out there as often as possible. Next question here. How often should I be producing content? This is a great one. So again, it's going to depend on your time constraints, but we really recommend publishing content on AdvisoryCloud once a quarter. And if you can be doing those short form op-eds that we kind of talked through, where you're sharing an article that you didn't even necessarily write, but you're just sharing your thoughts on another article. And you can be doing that in between. I try to do that once every couple weeks. Then that's really great. And again, those are really easy. I mean, you saw, we all read articles, here and there that relate to our expertise. So if you find an interesting one, or especially one that relates to your expertise, in 30 seconds or a minute, you can write up a little quick something on LinkedIn. Obviously, be sure to include your advisor profile in that as well. And there in 30, 60 seconds, you've shared your advisor profile out into the world, along with a little piece of your expertise with it. So that's something that you should really be doing as often as you can. What if I have content in other places, like my personal website? So I think I touched on this for a second, but yeah, let me elaborate here. So if you've already published content on maybe it's a company blog or a third-party website, then that's fantastic. Obviously, that's great. In these cases, we recommend adding your advisor profile link to that content if you can. So if that's your company website or a third-party website where you can go back and edit that content and include a profile link at the bottom. So adding a little a piece at the bottom that says, and if you're interested in learning more about this topic or interested in hiring me as an advisor on this topic, you can click here and have your advisor profile there. So that's easy to do if it's something that that you kind of own, quote unquote. But if you've written something on an outside publication, an industry journal, something like that, oftentimes they're more than happy if you send them an email and say, hey, I've got an updated bio. And it includes your link to your advisor profile. More often than not, they're happy to update that. They want to always make sure that they're including the most relevant and current information for anybody that's published articles. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out there. So, lastly, take a moment and think about an article that you've read recently, something relevant to your industry or your expertise. And now, hopefully something popped into your head of something you've read recently. And it's really easy here to take a few minutes. When we're done here, find that article, add your quick opinion at the top, your profile link like we walked through, and share that with your network. You'll want to start kind of building muscle memory, if you will, until it becomes second nature to share your profile link with your networks. This is something that, again, we should all be doing as often as possible, especially when there are those interesting articles where we say, wow, that was an interesting article. applies to an area that I'm able and capable of advising on, and I should really do something with that. Well, you can. It's very easy to go to your LinkedIn, paste that link in there, paste that link to your advisor profile in there, and share a little bit of your expertise and your thoughts on that topic. We do have a couple other questions here, but if I'm being honest, we're going to need a little bit more detail to really help out. So again, our member success team will be reaching out to you individually. Our team is always here to help you get the most out of these tools and resources. Also, if you're watching the recorded version of this program later, don't hesitate to reach out. Our member services team is still there, ready to answer any questions. They'll get back to you as soon as they can. So don't hesitate to reach out. Lastly, again, we hold these workshops monthly, and I really encourage you to join any and all that you can. Again, you can attend live. They're also always going to be available, the recorded versions after the fact. And we're going to cover new topics every month and go over any new features that have maybe been added or updated to the platform, all to make sure that you're getting the most out of your profile. So actually, if I go back to my profile here, so if you're in the platform, right up here at the top, you can see this banner, register for our upcoming AdvisoryCloud workshops. So on this page, you're going to see upcoming programs here. There's today's program right here. And then again, we've got July 18th, we're going to be covering how to create an advisor profile that stands out. In August, we're going to be taking a look at turning regular business interactions into paid advisory work. And then on September, we're going to take a look at advisory work and how to grow, engage, and convert your audience and your networks. So that's about all the time that we have today. Again, those of you that submitted questions that we're unable to get to, again, Member Success will address each and every one of those inquiries. So keep an eye out for their responses via email to any additional questions that were submitted. We'll also be sending everyone here a replay of this workshop for future reference, as well as a survey to offer feedback on your experience today and the types of workshops you'd like to attend in the future. So please keep an eye out for that. We want to listen to your feedback and see what else we can be providing to help you get the most out of your profiles. And one last thing on this page as well, what we'll be doing is creating short versions of little snippets from these different programs. So if you're not able to attend and maybe you've got a few minutes, some of these will be 5-minute programs. I think this is just a few minutes here sharing your AdvisoryCloud and social media posts. So that's something where we cover Facebook and Twitter and things like that really quickly. So you can always take a look there for other little pieces. So again, I want to thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks much.